This next bull run that we're gonna get is gonna be crazy, and it might even be the biggest one so far. And in this video, I would like to show you where I think Bitcoin might go and how you can best profit from that. And it's absolutely key that you don't mess it up right now, because if you mess it up right now, yeah, there'll probably be another chance in 4 years for another bull run, but then again, it might be not as big as the bull run that we are about to witness right now. So let's get right into that, and in the meantime, like the video. But if we go back to the early days of Bitcoin, where Bitcoin was sitting at 20 cents. Believe it or not, Bitcoin was 20 cents. It was even low. It was sitting at 5 cents. And shout out to the OGs who got in right there. The funny thing is about crypto, now when people see Bitcoin go from like 10K to 30K, they feel like, oh man, I've missed out and it's too late and it's too expensive right now. Just remember, people were looking at Bitcoin at 5 cents and it pumped all the way to $1. It did a 20x, which is absolutely incredible. And if you look at it like this, then you'll be like, yeah, why do I have to buy into this right now, right? And the more you zoom out, the more the perspective is gone. Because then you can see that Bitcoin went all the way from $1 to $20. So it did another 20x from there. And still, if you keep on zooming out, you can see that these major bull runs, this was an absolutely, believe it or not, but this was an incredible bull run from 5 cents to $20. That's unbelievable. That's 400x, right? But if you keep on zooming, you can just see like, hey, what is this actually, right? This little bump right here? Who cares? Who cares? Because then Bitcoin went from, let's say, $3 to, well, $2, $3, all the way to $1,000. Absolutely incredible. But again, the more you keep zooming, the more these bull runs just look like nothing actually. And if you zoom all the way to where we are right now, you can see that this is just like on the road, like just a little bump on the road, right? Even this big 2017 bull run, which was one of the biggest bull runs, it like, yeah, I mean, it came from what, $200 and it went all the way to 20K, right? It did 100x there as well. And still, if you look at it like this, it's like, yeah, okay, but what is it, right? And I am quite convinced that in like a decade from now, we can keep zooming out and even this bull run will look like something like this. Now, we are in the very early stages of crypto. Wherever the price might be right now, it's a little pre-recorded. I'm having a kid, so I'm recording some videos to not be gone while I'm actually gone, right? But this is timeless, and this is something that you do need to know. You should not mess it up right now. It's very important that you stay up to date. In a bear market, people say, hey, go away from crypto. And while that's actually true, like here, this part right here, yeah, you did not want to invest in crypto right there. If you zoom right there, if you were investing in crypto right here, yeah, you got completely wrecked, right? That's not what you want to do. We went from 20K all the way down to $3,000. And investing in Bitcoin would have made you a lot of losses. Investing in altcoins will probably was a good way to actually vanish all your money, because new altcoins hit the market. They will replace the altcoins that are here, and a lot of altcoins that we had over here are nowhere to be found over here right now. But to be completely gone, I don't think that that's the best choice to make. I think it's very important to keep on learning. Even in a bear market, you can study. You do not necessarily have to invest in crypto, but you can study the cycle. Hey, how is it moving? Why is it moving like this? Has it something to do with the macro? Is it because the S&P is tanking? Is it because there's no money printing? Is it because there is big inflation or a recession? And also, look at projects and study them while they die, right? That's important, because if you understand why certain projects die in a bear market, you can also prepare yourself for the coming bear market to not be in certain altcoins, or to recognize the signals, like, hey, this altcoin is about to die, so it's better for me to get out, even if you do take it with a loss. But first off, like, if you're watching this video, you might want to know where Bitcoin could go in the next cycle. Now, I can and I will give you my prediction of when and where the top is going to be. Disclaimer, I'm going to be wrong. All right. Anyone that tells you exactly where Bitcoin is going to top out and when it's going to top out, I can already predict that every single one of those people will be wrong. There is no one that will ever be right about it. There are people that come close, though, right? And why do these people come close? Because they know about the cycles. It's not like, hey, they put some Fibonacci tools over it and this and that, but they do understand the cycles and how the cycles move. Now, what is interesting, of course, is take a look at the previous cycles, right? When here did Bitcoin top out? It topped out end of 2013, right? Now, in the cycle after that, where did it top out? It topped out end of 2017, exactly 4 years later, right? Okay, could be a coincidence. Then where did we top out in the last cycle? End of 2021. Oh, exactly 4 years later again. This is going to be a little bit more than coincidence. This is cyclical, right? This is very seasonality kind of stuff. And the funny thing as well is, if you look where Bitcoin bottomed, it's also give or take in the same area. Bitcoin bottomed right here, beginning of 2015. Okay, Bitcoin bottomed right here, beginning 2018. If you zoom in a little bit more on this, sorry, I said 18, beginning 2019, right? End of 2018, beginning 2019. 4 years later, exactly. Okay, well, where did Bitcoin bottom this cycle? Well, end of 2022, beginning 2023. Also 4 years later. So we have the bottom, 4 years later we have a bottom, 4 years later we have a bottom. We have a top, 4 years later we have the top, another 4 years later we have the top. You could, of course, trade crypto under the assumption that this time is going to be different because we have a certain piece of news that's coming out, right? And that news could drag the price down or up, depending on what the news is, and change everything according to that. But we had a lot of news in every one of these cycles, and the news was exactly what made the cycle behave like the cycle, right? So what was funny, well, funny, a lot of people lost a lot of money, but what's ironic is that Bitcoin was going down. But then, end of 2022, we had the FTX crash in November, right? We had the FTX crash. And that made that Bitcoin bottomed exactly in that time period. So it was it's weird, right? Like, hey, the cycle plays out in a certain way. So end of 2022, we should see a bottom. And coincidentally, end of 2022, we had the FTX crash. And that caused the bottom, right? I'm under the impression that if that did not happen, then something else would have happened, which made that we found the bottom. So now that you know that crypto is pretty cyclical, you can also, based on this at least, predict where the next cycle top is going to be. So like we said, end 2013, 17, and 21. So what comes after that? 2025, right? So let's take a look at Bitcoin end of 2025. Where could it go? Now, let's pull up the Bitcoin chart right here. So the end of 2025 is going to be, and let me put a line right there. That's here, right? Could be October, November, December, January, February 2026. Like, it's not that accurate. The most important thing is not to know exactly when it's going to happen and what's going to happen, but to have a rough idea of, like, hey, around that period, then it's where the top is going to be. And that's where the price could be sitting by then. So let's also take a look at the price. But this let me make it yellow. Let me make it green, because in the bull market we are all green, right? This is where I expect the top to play out. Okay, and it's very simple. We had the top, we had the top, we had the top, and if we now take it, and that's all 49 months, 47 months. Let's take it to the green line, see how far that is. 49 months, right? So from top to top, 49 months, which is give or take 4 years. Now, what happens from top to top? You have a bear market in between. You have some kind of a sideways market in between. And the blue lines, that's the halving. After the halving, you have a bull market in between. Now, we are not at the halving yet. So could we still go down? No, before the halving, we always had some kind of a, not exactly a double bottom. Here it was a good double bottom though. Here it was a slightly high low. Here we haven't seen, at the moment of recording at least, not something like that yet. Hey, according to the cycle, that's definitely something that I expect. There is some big ass fucking spider hanging in front of me. Whoa. Sorry, I don't need that in my house. So, the cycle, it probably will top out end of 2025. Okay, that's just how it works. So, what could the price be? Now, you can predict prices in many ways, right? And the best thing to do is to look at multiple indicators, charts, averages, statistics, and then take an average of all of those indicators. And that's probably the most realistic way to do so. So let's, for example, take a look at cycle top to top to top. Like, what's the average move that comes from that? Well, if we take it from the top here, and I'm not going to zoom in to get it perfectly, but, you know, give or take what it is. So let me remove these things right here. Done. And believe me, probably this is going to be pretty bullish. So we have the top right here. What did we do? We did a 17x. Okay. So from this top to this top, we had a 3.5x. So let's say a 20x. So that's a 10x on average, give or take. And I'm not even including 2000 and 12, etc. In between. So from top to top, it's give or take a 10x. But that's just based on, you know, 2 or 3 previous tops. So it's not a lot of data, right? But if 10x is the average, then you could say like, okay, well, you know, from this top, well, it's easy to see, of course. This was $69,000. So based on that, it's going to be, you know, let's round it up, $700,000. So just let's write this down, right? And I'm not sitting here like, hey, this is going to happen, but I'm just sitting here like, okay, let's check out what the statistics say and see if we can make something out of that, right? So top to top, suggest that we go to $700,000. Okay, well, that's quite optimistic, but hey, it could definitely happen, of course. Now, there is also another indicator that we can use, and let's go to a chart that has a lot of data, and that's, let me take a look right here. These are the logarithmic regression bands. Now, the logarithmic regression bands is how Bitcoin moves, right? At the top of a bull market, we always go to the red band, the upper band. We went to it here in 2011, 2013, 2017, and 2021. Again, 4 out of 4 times. Hey, it's good enough for me to believe that we can add number 5 to it as well. So if we do that today, where would we be sitting? Well, today the upper band is sitting between 150 and 220k, give or take. But again, we just saw like, hey, Bitcoin is likely to top out end of 2025, right? So this band is moving up, so we should extend that. So we here have the extended version. Now let's take a look at 2025 and the end of 2025. Where is that sitting? Bitcoin, by the way, is still sitting in the green territory, right? The lower regression band, like it did every bear market. And you know, in that lower band, you can move up because the band is moving up. But we are not outside of that band yet. Matter of fact, we are pretty close to the lower band even, right? So let's take a look where that is in 2025, the end. So the end, if we go to the upper bands in, let's say, December 2025, it will be sitting between 300,000 and 450,000. So 300 plus 450, let's divide that by 2. The average is $375,000. So the top-to-top cycles tell us 700K. The regression band tells us 350K. Is there more we can take a look at? Yeah, there's a lot more, of course. We can add a parallel channel to the Bitcoin chart. And this one is valid since end of 2017. So for the last 6 years. So the only thing that we need is for this channel to be valid for another 2 years, right? Because if we extend it 2 years, we are at the end of 2025. So let's extend this with 2 years and let's see where it takes us. Because as you can see, we had the top here, we had the bottom here, we had the top here, we had the bottom here. If we now go one time back to the top, then it's already valid. What does that suggest to us? Well, the end of 2025, the top of this channel is sitting at 400K. So let's add that as well. So parallel, I don't think I write that right, but whatever. Says 400K. Let's take a look at something else. This is the logarithmic rainbow chart. You probably know about this one. Now, what's interesting about this chart is, as you can see in the first cycle in 2011, we went into, well, the orange line, give or take. However, at the top of the cycle after that, we went 2 lower. We went to the yellow, basically, this one right here. So 2 below the orange. If we then take a look at this cycle right here, we did not went here, but we went 1. Let me see. This was the orange, so we went there, and now we went there. So we went another 2 lower. Interesting. If we take a look at the cycle after that, we went 1, 2 lower. So if we go 2 bands lower every cycle top, then we should be 1, 2. So the first purple line in 2025. Now let's take a look where that is sitting. So 2025, and then the first purple line is sitting at $200,000. So what's interesting is rainbow. What's interesting is some people, they look at, hey, top to top, 700K. Okay, I'm not cashing out before 700, right? Somebody else looks at, oh, rainbow, 200K. Once we are at 200K, I'm cashing out, right? But there is a big difference between all of these metrics. And one of those is going to be wrong, right? Like you can't go top out at 700 and 200K. So in that case, therefore I said like, hey, let's take a look at all of these and just take the average of what all these indicators say. And then the chance that that's right is still not that high, of course, but it's the most realistic view that we could get out of this. Now, there is one other thing that I would like to check out, and that's just also the cycle, right? Because we have seen top to top, but what about bottom to top? Is that something that suggests us something? So let's start with this bottom right here and take it to the top. So let's add a price range. We go from this bottom to this top. Let's take another one from this bottom to this top, and this bottom to this top. Okay, 3 pieces of information. What can we make out of this? So from the bottom to the top, it did a 60x right here. It did 100, and let's round it up, 10x right here, and a 23x right there. if we take the average move, that's a 64x from the bottom. Okay, so let's take Bitcoin from the bottom and let's do a 64x, which is around this. This gives us a price of $1 million, right? To round it up, $1 million. So now we have a lot of information. So we have bottom to top 1 million. So let's just check what the averages are for these. So let's go with that. And I think then we have a very good idea of what a an average price is going to be. So we have 700 plus 350 plus 400 plus 200 plus a million is 1,000, right? Then we have this, and we have 5 different things. So the average of all of these things is $530,000, right? That's the average. Now, by the time you watch the video, Bitcoin might be lower. It might be high, it might be the same, but especially if it's lower, I think a lot of people will hear this and be like, 500K from here? But again, we took averages of all kind of different metrics. So you can't say that it's not possible because, again, it's the average. There were plenty times where we did way bigger gains, right? So again, what was it? $530,000. So let's go with that. So therefore, my prediction, in this case, based on this information at least, is that by the end of 2025, Bitcoin will be sitting around this level right here, 500K, right? End of 2025. Now, that's nothing too crazy if you zoom out on this chart and if you look how it moves. You could see like, okay, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Like it's like not that weird to think that something like that is going to happen. You have to understand, we now play with ETFs. We play with BlackRocks. We play with the big money, right? With the institutions. Okay, so if institutional money is going to flow in, we're not talking about $10,000 from your neighbor and $1,000 from your broke grandmother and this and that. We're talking about billions of dollars going into the market by smart people who are not going to panic sell as soon as Bitcoin has a 20% correction, right? That is a really good piece of news to back up why the price might do something like that. So therefore, you should not mess this up, right? Because if Bitcoin goes to $500,000 in the next bull run, from the moment of recording, Bitcoin is sitting at $37,000. That's around a 13, 14x from where we are right now. Well, that's nothing too crazy, right? That's nothing too crazy. It doesn't sound that unrealistic as well. But you must understand as well why you shouldn't mess this up, because we're in a world where also altcoins are a thing, right? And altcoins, they have way less liquidity. They are mega high risk. Like crypto is already the highest risk asset in the financial space. But within crypto, Bitcoin is still the lowest risk. And then we're talking about altcoins, and you can talk about, Ethereum, Solana, AVAX, about these altcoins which are lower risk. But if you go way lower in that list, then you're playing with fire. But you're also playing with assets that can do really well, because we know that if Bitcoin does a 10x, hey, altcoins might as well do 100x, right? And therefore, you should not mess up this bull run. Most people will step in here. I can already guarantee you that. Now, why do I know that? Well, I witnessed a couple of cycles before myself, and you just notice, right? When the price is high, everybody is interested. That's just how people work. But what's also interesting is this right here. You can actually see it. This red line, these are the social metrics. This shows how many people are watching YouTube videos about crypto, subscribing to that, following people on Twitter, etc. Now, every time the blue line is Bitcoin, right? The Bitcoin price, and the red line are the people interested. Look where Bitcoin topped out here in December 16 of 2017. Where did people were most interested in crypto? Here in January. So 1 month after Bitcoin topped, people came into the market most, right? And that's just not one time. We had it over here as well. Bitcoin here topped in April, 14th of April. We had some kind of a double top, right? And people came into crypto 17th of May, also 1 month later, right? Now, it's super important not to be that person. And yeah, I mean, you're watching this video, so congratulations, you are not that person. And I unfortunately can't speak for the people who are not in crypto yet. So please show them this video. Because it's just how human nature works, right? Like, hey, it's going down. Oh, fuck, forget about it. It's not interesting anymore. It's not in the news anymore. Nobody's talking about it. You actually forget about it, or you are not interested anymore. But once it goes up, hey, it's in the news, right? People are talking about it again. Your neighbors be like, hey, you've seen Bitcoin. And you'll be like, oh, goddamn, yeah, Bitcoin. Let's get into it again because it's pumping. No, you want to be there before it is pumping. And that's why you have to have faith, right? And that period is over, in my opinion. We were at 15K and everybody was scared. These exchanges were going down and everything was going to shit. We were in a pandemic and there were wars going on and there was so much stuff going on. People got so scared, right? People got so fucking scared. And they just left the building, right? And now it's, the dust is settling a little bit. You can see that the Bitcoin price is recovering a bit from that. So that's good to see. And now people start to talk about it a little bit again. But it's not at the top yet. Absolutely not. As you can see right now on this chart as well. The red line, hey, it's going up a little bit here. But, here it was higher in July. We haven't even taken that out, right? So, it's not that we're here. Like, it's not that new people flow into crypto yet because we have that parabolic bull run, right? It's nothing like that. It's more something like this where we go up in the meantime, go down in the meantime a little bit, and the people interested in crypto, they just go with that, right? And it's nothing really special. Once we have this parabolic bull run, you will see a lot of people getting into crypto. And it's your job to do that before these people do, because it sounds very cruel, but crypto is player versus player, right? If you buy, it means you're buying from somebody else. Somebody else is selling, and the other way around. Now, you want to buy as low as possible. That means that there is some dork somewhere sitting on a 15K Bitcoin and be like, oh, I'm so scared, let's sell it. And you are the smart person that's going to buy it from them. Now, in the next cycle, if we sit at $500,000, you be like, hey, I made a fuck ton of money with Bitcoin or crypto or whatever. Your neighbor is going to step in because he is going to believe that it's going to 1 million, and you'll be like, here you have it. You can take it from me. You're the one that's ending up with that money while the other person is buying the top. It sounds cruel, but they need to be your exit liquidity, right? That's just what it is. It sounds hard, but that's just how it works. Because if we do get these institutional bull runs right now, right, with BlackRock, you cannot out-trade BlackRock. You cannot be smarter than these institutions. They will own you, right? Therefore, I do think that this is now the last time to get in to really make some good money, because you can't win from the institutions. Believe me, these people are way richer than you. They are way smarter than you. They if they want a lower price, they just dump their bags. They get a lower price. Everybody is going to panic sell. The price drops even more, you including. They look at the low price and they be like, okay, let's buy it back right now. They will decide how the market is going to look. There will be a lot of manipulation, unfortunately. And now that we are still sitting at the lows, hey, let them manipulate the way up, right? While we are already there. In one of the next videos, I will be talking about once we got here, how to act, right? How to act, how to sell, when to sell. Because you could be sitting now like, yeah, well, once it hits that, I'm gonna sell. Bro, I can already tell you from experience, a bull market is way more stressful and hard than a bear market. So the fun is about to start, but the hard part as well. So let's talk about it by then. In the meantime, like the video, show it to everybody, subscribe to the channel. See you soon.